Item, the South Bayfront pedestrian bicycle bridge. Ignacio Tadish, what is this, a group presentation here?
We're transferring computers. Group F.
All right.
Stay there, stay there.
All right, all right. Good evening, Chair Davis, members of the agency. This is reports regarding the South Bayfront pedestrian bicycle bridge. At the committee's October 26 meeting, the committee concentrated on the design feature connecting the pedestrian bridge, the proposed bridge to Bay Street. And the reason why we're concentrating in this area is because the Bay Street connection is the most constrained, and I'll show you in a few slides here. This is the site where that circle is. That is the proposed location of the South Bayfront pedestrian bicycle bridge. You have Bay Street on the left and the Horton Street Landing, Novartis area on the right of the UPRR, Union Pacific Railroad tracks. And the constraints of the site are these. You have two huge buildings. Those are the Bay Street parking garages and buildings. You have the railroad tracks. So those darker areas are unmarked areas are the areas where this bridge can land. But in addition, you have a vehicular bridge connecting the garages on either side of Ohlone Way on Bay Street. You have Temescal Creek and the traffic coming in and out of Ohlone Way into the parking garages, as well as lease requirements of Bay Street, in which we cannot restrict, we cannot obscure the view corridors along this corridor. So for this reason, there are so many constraints. We are concentrating design solutions in this area. So at the last meeting, the committee recommended to forward to the agency board several design decisions. The first one being to eliminate this option before you. And this option is describing it to you. The red sections are bridge sections. The blue sections there are ramp sections. And the yellow sections are sort of stairs. So I will just describe to you how someone would cross this bridge. So this, again, this section is the bridge coming in from the east side. These are the parking garages. And this is the vehicular bridge connecting the two Bay Street parking garages. So a person crossing from the east, a pedestrian, would just cross the bridge, take the ramp down, and take the stairs down to Bay Street. A person on a wheelchair or disabled access would take that ramp down. I'll do that again. We'll take the ramp to the garage and connect to the elevators on Bay Street. And then the pedestrian can take this route also. And then a bicyclist would cross the bridge, go into the garage, get into the vehicular bridge, and go into the ramp. And the disadvantages, and the reason why the committee wanted to remove this is because it takes too many turns, there are too many parking spaces affected. The route through the garage goes behind parking, and the ramps also on Ohlone Way obscure the retail frontages. So for this reason, the committee is actually proposing to eliminate this alternative. Are there any questions on this alternative before I proceed?
Good idea, move along.
Right. The next alternative also to eliminate is, and actually versions of this alternative were presented before, but similar to the other alternative, pedestrian crosses the bridge, and then this alternative goes above the current vehicular bridge. So this goes onto the 4th parking level of Bay Street. But then it goes it connects to, above the pedestrian bridge and takes the ramp down and then stairs into Bay Street. And this particular version, the ramps cross Bay Street. A person in a wheelchair would take the cross the bridge and then connect to the 4th level of the parking garage. And a bicyclist would go round the ramp, cross Bay Street, and come down in front of Bay Street. And again, the reasons for this is that the ramps cross Bay Street, which obscures too much of the street frontage. And also, it has the same concerns with the wheelchairs going behind parked cars and affecting too many cars. And also, you get onto the 4th level of Bay Street. So essentially, you have to take the elevator down 1 level to the restaurants. So for that reason, this option was also eliminated.
Excuse me just one second. Before you leave that, and I don't quarrel with the analysis, but I'm disappointed that I didn't see anything in the list of reasons why this wasn't a good alternative that spoke to its impact upon the Native American memorialization that goes on, and it certainly would have a visual impact on it. And I'm bringing that out because I want to make sure that the committee, in whatever we're going to be doing down the road, that we stay sensitive to those issues, because we ended up with a memorialization that wasn't quite as grand as we had hoped at the beginning, and we certainly don't want to do things that are going to further deteriorate from what is there. So I would like the minutes to reflect that, at least from a council perspective, that that's a consideration why this is not a desirable alternative.
We will bring that up at the next meeting. The next alternative to discuss, and this is an alternative that the committee is proposing that we explore further. A person walking would just cross the bridge and take the stairs down. They would connect through the vehicular bridge and then take the stairs down from there. A person in a wheelchair will connect into the garage and then cut across the garage very near the elevators. And this would be at the 3rd level of the garage. And then a person on the bike would simply make a left and then go down the ramp and get onto Ohlone Way. And the aspects of this design that need further review are in green, where how we design the connection from the ramp into toward the elevators, and also how the stairs and the ramps connect with Ohlone Way. Another advantage of this design is that it comes behind Bay Street, and the ramps are short enough that the fire safety and fire protection issues of the fire chief have been addressed.
Correct.
So the committee is recommending that we explore this design further. Again, these are schematics, so there's still a lot of work to be done on this schematic. The next item on the agenda would be recommendation would be to schedule the public workshop. I've placed on the dais sample postcards. This is a enlarged version of a postcard. Do you have those?
Yes.
Yes.
So if if the agency approves the setting up the public workshop, which will discuss basically the history of the project, the purpose, future key decision points, and where additional public input could be received, opportunities for visioning. We have a lot of more design elements we have to discuss. We have to discuss the park elements, the ramp elements on the east side, the type of bridge we're going to have, the design of the bridge, and, and the additional design elements on the Bay Street side. All of these will be explained, and we will schedule additional workshops to discuss these
And
items.
so you're going to have this at the Novartis Auditorium?
Yes.
And where are people going to park?
I believe they are going to make their parking garage available.
We should include that information because, you know, the curbing along Horton Street near the auditorium is quite a bit of red there. So there might be some problems on people parking. Same thing's true of Hollis Street. So let's get our parking instructions so people know where they can park.
Mayor? I want to thank the committee. I think these are well-thought-out recommendations, and I'm going to support them. I have a concern, and I know the committee must have talked about this, but I have a concern about scheduling 2 events in December. People just get awful busy in the holiday month, and I wonder if you talked at all about waiting until January to have these 2.
Actually, yes, that was a second item there that we're actually proposing to actually postpone the December 8th because it is near the holidays.
Yeah.
And it's too close together.
Okay.
So what your proposal is that you just have one meeting?
Just one, December 6th, and the next meeting.
Then come back
would-
again in January or
Right, yes.
February?
Yes.
That sounds good. Do I hear a motion on the resolution?
Actually, yes, I was going to get to the resolution about working with UPRR.
Moving along.
Basically, as we develop the designs, we have to work with UPRR through the design issues, and they need a design agreement with us that will
We
pay for their
want to
time.
be hand in hand with the railroad, because without the railroad, hand in hand with us, we're not going anyplace.
Yes, and that's what
Do
the
I hear a
resolution is
motion
about.
on the,
I just have one more item. I'm sorry.
got a second?
Okay,
Yeah.
and then just one more concern, Mayor. Do we have anybody from the disabled community working with our committee on this?
Our consultants are aware of the ADA requirements, but we don't have a person representing that
Okay.
community.
I just think that this is a very important link, and I think it would be good if we invited somebody from one of the disabled groups that actually utilizes a wheelchair, either Center for Independent Living or,
CIL?
yeah, or some other organization, to actually have them, to see if they've got the time to participate with the committee, because I think we'd get a lot of valuable input. So I'd
Whatever
like...
that group is that sued us or was threatening to or something.
Yeah, well,
Okay, we have a
Bunch of
motion,
lawyers, so you don't...
we have a motion and a second on the resolution, without
I just had
exception.
one more comment. You know, I like the invitation that you have here, but I would really like to see the city develop some kind of a standard face so that when you get something in the mail, you know it's from the city. You know, some kind of a standard cover so people
Got a
can
logo
recognize.
on there.
I know, but you know, these things are so fancy that people don't always notice the difference between this and the whole ton of other mail they get. And if we had one distinguishable cover, then it could be distinguishable, noticed, and maybe get more attention, so.
Thank you for your comments, Councilmember Bukowski. Without exception,
Without exception. Ignacio, I have a question. For the ramps that go behind the parking garage now, are they going to be separately lit, or is the light from the garage going to be sufficient?
I would imagine that it would have its own lighting.
Okay.
okay, without exception, the resolution passes. Before we go into